jackaloperadio.com. You can check out one of our many affiliates like jackaloperadio.com. I believe they even have an application where you can listen to the show on your phone.
You can listen to it on your Android mobile phone, mobile device. If you got the Android, you can pull up. There's an application that Jackalope Radio will use. And so if you're driving around town, for instance, our buddy, our pal, Royal Man in the chat room, they're calling him the Royal Jerk. He says he'll drive around town, and when he's driving, he'll have his mobile device up on the dash with a Bluetooth enabled type thing where he can hear us actually in his car. So you could just say that the Big Dumb Fun Show.
What is that beeping?
You know, that's our call waiting from a
weather
213 number. You're on the Big Dumb Fun Show. This is Aaron.
And Vikman.
Hi, it's Jennifer Blanc.
Hey, Jennifer, can we give you a ring back just in 2 shakes of a lamb's tail?
Absolutely.
Awesome,
All right.
Blossom.
We'll call you right back here. Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Kind of a preview. Jennifer Blanc coming up on she's going to be in the Victim. Actually, she is in the Victim, but they're going to be previewing that at the AMC Theater Fest. Film Fest.
Kansas City Film Fest.
On the Main
this week,
Street.
Wednesday through Saturday.
This would be a great time for me to actually experience that theater.
You haven't been there? It's a really nice theater, but I think
to be there.
I believe we have Kelly Erb from TaxGirl.com. She's still on the phone. Are you there, Kelly?
Yep, still here.
All right.
Now, Kelly, we're talking about tips. Can people get into big trouble? Let's just say, of course, hypothetically, that you work for tips, and perhaps you don't claim those tips.
You have to claim
hypothetically
some of them.
Well, let me just say hypothetically, you might want to try and estimate the amount of tips that you have, because believe it or not, the IRS actually has a formula that they use to determine how much income you should be reporting on tips. And actually, one of my clients worked for a pretty snazzy restaurant in New York City for tips, and the whole restaurant basically got audited because they weren't reporting. And it was the first time I ever got to see how the IRS kind of figures out how much you should be reporting. And they actually had it down to the day. Like, you know, you should get better tips on a Friday than if you work on a Tuesday.
What if you're just a really crappy waiter?
That's true.
What if you work at just like a greasy
Well, if you're
spoon
really
of a
crappy,
dive?
well, if you're a really crappy waiter, then it's even more to your advantage then to report it. Because if you report it accurately, who's going to argue with that? You can actually keep a tip journal. This is the IRS encourages you to keep a tip journal and write down your tips, because it's better to write it down and have the IRS say sure than to not write anything down and then have them try to guess and you have to argue with them.
See, I actually, unlike, I'm smart enough. I do keep a log of my tips, but then I keep another log of my tips. So it really depends.
I had a great client. He was a wonderful little guy who he kept 2 sets of books for his company, and his wife never knew. He was an older guy, and it was really interesting because he got audited, and that's how his wife found out that there were 2 sets of books. So, you hear about that from time to time, but people really do it.
The tips that they claim, they'll look, you get your printout at the end of the night, and they'll look at their sales, and they will literally claim exactly 10%.
Yeah,
I thought that was kind of the number was 10%. 10% of your sales.
Yes. For that evening, you mean?
Yeah, for whatever your particular shift or
Now, you said the restaurant was audited, though. Is this a restaurant? Is this something that the business can be brought up on? It's the server's fault, right?
Well, no, because even if I don't know how the restaurants that you guys worked, but pretty much the taxpayers were responsible for reporting their own income. And if the restaurant is shorting you, that's a whole different issue. That's not a tax issue. That's criminal
or work for a jackass issue.
Exactly. I've never actually waited. I did retail through college, but I would have been miserable at wait service. I have immense respect for people who can cater to people like me, because I have to say, I would just say to people that they'll eat what I bring them and they'll like it. Like, there's just no way.
That's kind of the motto at Chubby.
It takes
people keep coming back. I don't know why it is.
It takes a certain person to work in hospitality.
What happens is if there's only one other restaurant open in the whole city at 3 a.m. and you're drunk, you try to avoid the sobriety checkpoints.
Yeah.
So we get some business.
We do. They do really great.
And drunk
people, they go and they put advertisements on the sobriety checkpoint.
They don't look close at the receipt. They're not necessarily coherent enough to count their cash.
Charge it twice.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of.
No, it's nothing like that
No,
at
you
all.
never.
Sounds like a
never
dream job.
I wish it was that way, but it isn't actually.
If you're
that
just
way.
joining us, Kelly Erb joins us right now, the Tax Girl, online at taxgirl.com. And the Facebook, just do search for Tax Girl or facebook.com/Tax Girl. I noticed you also tweet. You tweet about every day or so. You tweeted on the 1st about the IRS offering discounts for cash payments. I guess not the case?
No, that was my April Fool's. I do an April Fool's every year. So that was my April Fool's.
Well, do people believe it? Do people buy it?
I sure hope not, because actually this is the first year that I made a big deal about putting at the bottom that it was a joke, because usually I'll wait a day and then say ha-ha, but this time I actually had nightmares of people, like, mailing the IRS giant bags of coins and then, later hurling them at me when they realize they aren't actually getting a discount.
Now, you can't send them just large bags of coins?
You can pay in coins to the IRS. That's actually in the manual, but you have to do it in person.
For Kansas.
I'm going to pay in gold bullion.
I owe Kansas $20.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that when I file them for my extension.
Well, the IRS
your
has
owed
to
amount about $8.
the IRS has to accept it, but the downside is that you actually have to wait while they count it.
Okay.
So if you owe a lot, that means you're going to have to spend a lot of time with the IRS.
Now, wait a second. That may be a really good way, a strategy for delaying.
Yeah, that's true.
Because
Pending, yes.
I mean, if you send all pennies and you owe like $800, somebody's going to have to spend some.
Dude, that's a lot of pennies,
You would
dude.
think
It's going to take a week to count this.
Yeah, you would think the IRS.
That's a heavy bag of pennies.
I know. Just the cost of mailing it would probably be as much as the taxes.
I think so.
Now, we've only got like a minute here, but tell us where people are going to find you. You're going to be doing any more appearances, any more? You said you have an AOL article coming out.
Well, I freelance for AOL, so I'm there a couple of days a week. But I have 2 articles coming out tomorrow, hopefully, on Time.com, Time Magazine. And I have a couple things coming up. I had a piece that I was interviewed for Yahoo that should be coming up. So I'm kind of all over the place.
Have you ever interviewed with Wolf Blitzer?
Have I what?
Have you ever interviewed with Wolf Blitzer?
No.
Now, if you had a choice,
I have been on CNN, but not with him.
if you had a choice between Wolf Blitzer and the Big Dumb Fun Show, put you on
Oh,
the spot.
absolutely, Big Dumb Fun Show. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Hands down.
That's what's up, baby.
Kelly Erb, the Tax Girl, taxgirl.com, and on the Facebook,
Yay.
facebook.com/taxgirl, and you can check out her sweet tweets.